I'm back to the channel with the quick new tutorial today. I recently have finished a classic cardigan on my knitting machine and I loved it, but I felt like I wanted to add some spice to it by creating a simple chain along the shoulder seam, but with this super chunky yarn in contrasting color. I used bulky weight yarn for a more dramatic effect. The color I chose is a beautiful mustard shade that looks perfect next to classic gray. It is important to mention that even though the yarn is very thick, it is a single thread spun very loosely. So it flattens easily, which means it won't hurt my knit fabric. And also it won't add bulk to the seam. Okay, so start with measuring the length of the yarn tail that you would need to complete a chain on one shoulder. The length will depend on the size of the chain. I'm taking 6 times the length of a shoulder line. I tried it with 3 on my first attempt and I failed miserably, so I'm playing it safe this time. You would need a simple needle that you use for seaming your knits. As the yarn is very bulky, threading it through might feel awkward for the first time, but as I mentioned, if you use a single ply, it flattens easily. Okay, we are going to start. First, we are going to find the seam that connects the shoulders and your sleeve, this intersection here. And we will insert the needle from the wrong side towards the right side and pull the thread, the yarn through. We are going to leave a small yarn tail on the back of the work. We are going to secure it later, and we're coming back to the right side and we'll start creating those chains along the shoulder line. To create your first chain, you are going to insert the working needle into the same space from where your current thread is coming from, but you will just change the direction. Right now you're coming from the right side to the wrong side, and you start pulling the yarn through. And this is the moment when you are going to determine the size of the chain stitches. I'm using my index finger to help me to create more or less the same size chain stitches. Next step is to flatten the created chain stitch along the shoulder line. Hold it with your left finger and insert the needle from the wrong side to the right side. Insert it inside the chain stitch as close as possible to the top of it. Make sure not to pull too hard so you do not distort your shoulder seam. Look for the space from where the thread is coming out and insert the needle into the same space from the right side to the wrong side. Pull the yarn through. I'm using my index finger again to determine the size of the loop. And now all we have to do is to basically keep repeating those steps. Flatten the stitch along the seam. Hold the stitch with your left hand. Insert the needle from the wrong side to the right side into the last loop as close to the top as possible. Pull the yarn through. Make sure that you do not pull too hard. Insert the needle into the same space from the right side to the wrong side. And pull the yarn through until you get the loop of the size you want. And keep repeating those steps until you get to the neck base. Okay, now we are at the end of the shoulder seam at the neck base, and we need to secure the last loop. Insert the needle from the wrong side to the right side inside the last loop as close to the top as possible. Pull the yarn through to make sure that the seam is not pulled in any place. And now all we have to do is to insert your working needle from right side towards the wrong side and pull the yarn through without creating the loop. Let's check the wrong side. Again, the single ply won't create the bulk. With time, it will flatten along the seam. Now all we have to do is to weave in the ends. I like to split the yarn thread into two parts and weave them in the opposite directions. That will eliminate any extra bulk in the seam, and also it is a better way to secure those ends. I use this trick for all my projects. And we are done. I think it is a super fun and easy way to add some volume and texture to your basic needs, and it works as a beautiful color contrast for neutral outfits. Also, it is a great way to put all those yarn leftovers to use. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please comment below and share this video. Thank you for watching. Until next time.